off of mute. What's going on? What's going on, lunch breakers and takers? This is another live episode of the Lunch Break Hot Take. I am Jose, and that's Rodney over there.
And this
muted.
is Rodney. I'm not muted. All right, it's all good.
All right. How's everybody's Wednesday going so far? Bruno Moraine already in the chat. What's going on?
What's going on, Bruno?
Oh, Garnett, what's going on? Thank you for joining the live stream. Appreciate
What's up,
you,
Garnett?
man. All right. And everybody that's over on Facebook, we just started live streaming on Facebook. I don't know why we just started doing it. We should have been doing it a while ago, but we just said, hey, you know what? We should be casting over there as well. Attitude Pop in the house. Courtney Rogers in the house. What's going on, guys? All right, you guys see the title. It's just two subjects, but it's going to take up a lot of time. We're going to be talking about QB value around the league. You know, what should you be giving up for a quarterback? And, you know, the Orlando Brown news just keeps it's the gift that keeps on giving. So we're going to talk Orlando Brown, what we should be getting in the trade or a possible trade, or should we hold on to him? But first, in case you guys forgot, this is Black History Month. Now, for me and B, it's Black History every month. But for the rest of y'all, we're going to give you some Black History facts every week on the show for Black History Month. Maybe even beyond that. We'll see. Mm-hmm. So, B, would you like to present the Black History fact for today? Hold on. Let me bring up the banner, because I forgot to put that up last time. All right.
Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and read through this real quick. In 1888, the first African-American Black-owned and operated bank opened up in Washington, D.C. It was the Capital Savings Bank. Now, you know, obviously at that time, white-owned banks weren't really interested in investing in Black businesses. Except through the first 4 years of the Capital Savings Bank, over $300,000 was deposited by the Black community. And, you know, they used that money to fund a lot of Black businesses and, you know, to really invest in their own community and help their own neighborhoods thrive, you know. Yeah. And, you know, that's, again, something that wasn't really going on. And it was a way that Black people were really held down. You know, if you can't get access to capital, then, you know, it's much harder to improve your own situation. It's much harder to improve your neighborhood, your community, without access to that kind of money. And so that's what that bank was all about. Just building wealth and building value in Black communities.
Right. Facts. Absolutely. And, you know, Derek Weatherly, shout out to Derek Weatherly. He put a little Black History fact of his own. Willie O'Ree, first Black NHL player, worth the Google. And and shout out to David, the sports and gaming nerd, because he's a big hockey fan. Yeah. He likes to promote hockey in the Black community. He would appreciate this Black History fact. All right. And, you know,
absolutely.
And you know what? If you guys have a little fact that you want to drop in there, make sure it's a fact. Throw it in there. Oh, Ferris. Oh, we got to give a shout out to our patron, Ferris. Shout out. He said, let's rock it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Attitude Pop. Bill Russell. Okay, Bill Russell. Yeah. So while Ferris is in here, I want to make sure you guys are subscribed to the Let's Get Ready Network. That's where you can find Ferris along with Suge, B. Dorr, and Justin Hamilton. They cover everything. They cover everything. Schmodown, sports. So if you like Star Wars, they do Star Wars. They do it all. So make sure you subscribe to the Let's Get Ready Network.
Yeah, and Ferris and Suge host the highlight show every Monday. It's a really good time. You know, those guys are a lot of fun. They really know their sports, and you know, it's a great watch.
See, Ferris said on Peacock there's a mini doc about Willie O'Ree. See, there you go. You letting you know what's going on. Darius Simmons, what's going on? Thank you for joining the live stream, man. Appreciate
What's up, Darius?
And also shout out to you guys, because look, we've been dropping these videos, man, and you guys have been supporting it. Okay, like we are a small channel still, very small channel, and the views that we get for these videos far outweigh the size of this channel. Okay, and you guys, you know, you comment on them. Abs, what's going on, Abs? And Abs, I saw you in the live stream that we were in on Panthers Nation podcast. I saw you show up to that, so I appreciate that. And make sure you guys subscribe to that. Derek Weatherly, I know you're a Panthers fan. Make sure you subscribe to Panthers Nation podcast. They do a lot of good stuff over there.
Yeah.
All right. So so we were going to segue from that Black History fact because that's dealing with finances and value and wealth and all that. So we want to transition to the next topic, which is QB value. Okay, there's a lot. We did a live stream last week, and we did a QB carousel on last week's show. And there's a lot of quarterback movement, and we just kind of want to ask a question: what do you think quarterback's values worth? In terms of what you should give up in a trade or how much you should pay him, things like that. So.
Yeah, because everybody says quarterback's the most important position, right? But there's a lot of disagreement on what you should actually give up to go and get a franchise quarterback.
Right.
Right now, there's a lot of talk in Carolina about, not just Deshaun Watson, unfortunately, but they're in on everybody, right?
Yeah.
They're making offers on Matt Stafford. There's rumors that they were kind of in on Carson Wentz with the Montclair.
Yeah. Carson Wentz giving a little Black History fact.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Garnet.
Yep.
So yeah, we just want to talk about that. The story is out there that Deshaun or the Texans for Deshaun want 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 young defensive players.
Right.
And so it's kind of a question of quarterback is the most important position in the game, but is it worth that much of an investment to go and get one?
Right. Yeah.
For me personally, I think that, nobody affects the game the way the quarterback does. Nobody can turn around a team the way a quarterback can. We've seen that in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. They had the number 1 defense in the league. They had a really good O-line, and Joe Flacco was their quarterback, and they were 4-5, right? And then Lamar Jackson steps on the field. They finish 6-1. They go to the playoffs. The next season, they go 14-2. It's really all Lamar. Nothing changed besides Lamar coming on the field, right? So if you get the right guy, I think it's absolutely worth it. Specifically with Deshaun Watson, I think he's shown to be that type of a player, Right. And right now, you think about it, and it kind of hurts to say 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 defensive starters. But really, you're talking about 2 players and 4 picks, and the likelihood is a couple of those picks probably aren't going to pan out anyway.
Right.
And so the question that I always ask myself is are you going to, if this player comes to town, in this case Deshaun Watson, in a few years, are you going to remember what you gave up? Are you going to care what you gave up to get him? And I don't think so. I think if you identify the right guy for you, you give up whatever it takes to go get him.
Good point. We'll quickly give a couple of shout outs. God's Child's in the house. What's going on, God's Child? Chris Hall. What's going on, Chris Hall? Chris Hall wants to know, Yo, B, do you like the Panthers trading up to 3 to get Trey Lance?
I don't think that they'll need to trade up to 3 to get Trey Lance. I think, they might have to trade up from 8.
I think it was Mel Kiper or Todd McShay, one of those guys in their mock had the Panthers trading up to 3 to get Trey Lance.
Yeah, look, if they're trading up to 3, I wouldn't want them to take Trey Lance because if they're at 3, that means Fields or Wilson is available.
Yeah. Now this is it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think they'll have to trade up from 8. I think they'll have to get ahead of Detroit at 7 because I think they're probably going to move that pick to somebody who wants a quarterback. But yeah, I'd be fine with them trading up to 5 or 6. Wherever it takes to get Trey Lance. But at 3, I think they can probably get a better quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Ferris says, "Let's be real." No, the real important unit is the O-line. Let's be real. Look, I think they're right up there. My thing is built from the lineup, offense and defense. Right? If you have a strong O-line or a strong D-line, that's really going to set the tone for the rest of your offense. But the quarterback is the most important position, individual position. So ideally, you want to get that taken care of first, right? Because even if you have a stout O-line, if your quarterback sucks, you're only going to go so far.
Well, like I said, the Ravens had a really good O-line in Lamar's rookie year.
Yeah.
They were 4-5.
Yeah.
It matters who you're blocking for, too.
True. But O-line is very important. I
Yes.
agree. It's very important. And, it all depends on your organization because, we talked about Carolina possibly trading for Deshaun Watson, right? The situation in Carolina is their O-line, is just up in question. You have like three starters that may not return next year, right? And they
Yeah.
already had some issues blocking. So, okay, you trade to get Deshaun Watson. You have less assets to work with to acquire what you need to protect them. So it's going to be a struggle, right?
Right.
But not saying it can't be done. And Graven, what's going on, man?
What's
He
up,
said
Engraven?
he said, yeah, it's true. It goes both ways. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But are you going to invest in that quarterback? That's the same thing I always say about Lamar, right? You got to invest in him. They're about to pay him a lot of money. They're about to pay him a lot of money. So what are you going to do? You're going to spend your top draft picks on defense. You're going to spend all your cap on defense.
Yes.
What sense is that?
Absolutely.
Right? So yes, I mean, if you're going to invest in a quarterback after you give up so much to get him, then yeah, it's worth it. And like you said, a couple years from now, you're not even gonna remember what you gave up to get him. Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's read a couple. Hold on, let me read a couple of comments here. Attitude Pop says they say Zach Wilson is better than Fields.
I don't know. I don't want to say either way right now. I haven't watched a whole lot of Zach Wilson, but I'm really high on Justin Fields. I'll leave it at that.
Darius Simmons agrees with Ferris. He says facts. The line is the anchor. I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree.
It is, but I did watch Deshaun Watson go to the playoffs and win their division a couple times with a bad O-line.
Now, I wish our friend Quan was here. Shout out to Quan from Off the Record. He would appreciate this comment from Jonathan Washington Jr. He says, Panthers gave up on their franchise QB, Taylor Heineke.
Okay.
Our friend Quan is the biggest Taylor Heineke fan. A lot of Washington fans, man. Listen, Washington fans, they are delirious. Anything that they do, any kind of move. This has been Washington since we've been here since we were kids, right? We live in Maryland. Well, B lives in West Virginia now, but we grew up in Maryland, and the DMV area, Southern Maryland. Those are all hardcore, Washington football team or former Redskins fans. Further up north, we're Ravens fans. But those Washington fans, man, they are so thirsty for a quarterback. They're so thirsty for wins. Any offseason move that they make, they will claim that they're going to the Super Bowl. And it's no different this time. Okay. Taylor Heineke played okay in a playoff game, and they're like, re-sign him. He's our franchise QB, and we're going to the Super Bowl.
Like you can make a legit argument that he wasn't even the best former Panther quarterback on the roster this year in Washington. Whatever, man. Like you need a backup. Okay, fine. You re-signed him, but please go get a quarterback.
Yeah. What's this Mac Jones discussion going on here? Darius, you say Jets going to Mac Jones at number 2?
You have to mean 23, right?
Oh, they had a 23 pick too?
I believe it's 23, yeah. But you remember they got Seattle's pick for Jamal Adams. So they do have the 2 first. Mac Jones can't go 2.
Yeah.
Can't.
There's a lot of I can see Mac Jones going in the first round.
I think
a lot of hype. And you know what? He had a good Senior Bowl. I'll be honest about that. He had a good Senior Bowl, so that's going to drive his stock up. He played for Alabama. I don't think it's a good idea, to be honest. I don't think it's a good idea.
No, I'm not high on Mac Jones.
Jonathan Washington says you can make an argument the O-line is very important, but the QB has always been the great equalizer. We not reaching the Super Bowl without solid O-line, but we're not anything with Lamar.
Without Lamar, yeah.
Without Lamar,
that's absolutely true. Look again, Carolina, right? 2015, you had Michael Oher playing left tackle, and the guy who just lost the Chiefs the Super Bowl, Mike Remmers, playing right tackle.
Right.
And they went 15-1 and went to the Super Bowl. Like their interior O-line was good. The tackles were absolute trash.
Yeah.
But they're able to overcome that because of Cam playing quarterback.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out too is, right, you also have to evaluate these quarterbacks properly and what these quarterbacks can do for your team. Because when we're on the Panther Nation's podcast, is a show the other day, we had a conversation about who the Panthers should be going after, and it was brought up that they were actually trying to target Matt Stafford, right? And that David had a fit. He had a fit about that,
Yes.
and I understand them because me and him agree. If they went and traded for Matt Stafford, you basically did nothing,
Yeah.
right? You basically did nothing. There's nothing that he could do differently in Carolina, especially with no O-line, that he was doing in Detroit. Like, I think people get this misconception about Matt Stafford that he's been playing with no weapons his whole career, and in fact, he's been playing with nothing but weapons his whole career.
And listen, you can make the argument that he hasn't been on very good teams, and that's fine. And for the most part, that's true. Detroit hasn't been, a talented roster throughout, right? But the thing is, don't make that argument and then say, "Hey, we're going to bring him to Carolina and expect him to elevate this roster." He can't do it. He showed you he can't do that.
Yeah.
So like, what's the point in trying to trade for Matt Stafford aside from making some headlines?
Yeah, good point. Okay, Darius says 23 or later. That's what you're talking about for the Jets.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I'm not a Mac Jones fan, so I wouldn't like that. But yeah, if they're in love with him, 23. I mean, I guess just take Fields or Wilson too. But
Ab says, remember when Kyle Allen had right wide open and decided to run backwards?
I remember a lot of things about Kyle Allen, and not many of them are good. So
let's see. Attitude Pop says, if RG3 knew how to slide and not get hurt, and if he didn't get hurt, I think the Redskins would have won a Super Bowl by now.
I think you gotta pump the brakes on that one, man.
Look. If I were a Redskins fan, I would probably think that too, because his rookie year, they got to the playoffs. He went on like an 8-game win streak, right?
Oh no, I mean pump the brakes on the learning how to slide part. Like, he didn't get himself hurt by not sliding,
Right.
The Shanahan's playing him on a already messed up knee.
That's what it was. He shouldn't have played in that. It was against Seattle.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have played in that Seattle game. Now, if they were healthy, he definitely would beat Seattle.
Yeah.
But yes, the Shanahans just mismanaged him, and even when he came back the next year, I understand he really tried to force his way onto the field, but you're the coach. Say, look, you're not ready. You're not going out there.
Oh, and the next year he injured his ankle rolling out against Jacksonville. I mean, he wasn't even running. He was just rolling out of the pocket and turned his ankle.
Yeah.
Who knows how he would have panned out in Washington. Like, I think that was a terrible situation for him. I don't think the coaches wanted him there. I can't say that it would have gone any better than it ended up going if he stayed healthy, really.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys in the chat. So Deshaun Watson is the obvious one, right? They've already stated what they want: 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 defensive players. But there are some other quarterbacks that are reportedly on the move, right? Carson Wentz, we're not quite sure what all he's going to go for, because it seemed like it was inevitable that he was going to Chicago, but now things have kind of cooled down on that. So what do you think a player like Carson Wentz should go for? And also, there's talks of maybe Mariota on a move. What would you get for Mariota? And Russell Wilson has voiced his frustrations with Seattle. Now, he hasn't asked for a trade yet, but some people think this is just the beginning of the process. So
yeah,
what would you give up for a Russell Wilson, right? There's a bunch of quarterbacks out there. What do you think their value is, and what would you be willing to give up for them? And while you guys are typing that, I'm gonna take a minute to say, hey, if you guys are new, welcome to the channel. I see 26 people in here. Some of y'all are on all over the place. Okay, got a couple people on Periscope, a couple people on Facebook. But if you're new, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Okay, hit that notification bell. All right, our channel is growing. We appreciate the support. If you like what we're doing and you want to support financially, because that's going to help us grow, you can hit up patreon.com/LBHT show. Just $3 a month. We're getting ready to roll out a $10 tier. and we will have some goodies for you guys for each tier. And also, right above B, that's our Cash App. That's our Cash App QR code. You can go to $ LBHT show and drop a little something on donation. We actually use that as our super chat. So if you drop a donation on Cash App, make sure you leave a comment so we can read it on there. All right. And if you like the merch, we got, we're in a little lunch break hot take. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Abs, I saw your comment. I saw one of your comments. You're looking at the purple hoodie. If you guys want to see me wearing a purple hoodie, check out the video that we put out, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
On Orlando Brown, and you'll see the new lunch break hot take hoodie. It looks kind of like a Ravens hoodie. That's intentional, and it's got the symbol on the side there. So, go get yourself some merch. teespring.com/stores/LBHT show. All right. What's up? Oh, okay. Jacob trying to talk to me over
just
there.
Hopping in, huh?
Yeah.
Just hopping in the live stream.
Yeah. Purple Rain Podcast. What's going on, fellas? Make sure you check out Sutton and Alex on Purple Rain Podcast. Yo, those guys are dope. Those guys are dope. And I think, when do you guys stream? Is it tomorrow? Is it on Thursdays? I think every Thursday they stream. I want to get the right time. But make sure you're following those guys, man. Great content over there. Yeah. And Alex, Simply AS10, he does a bunch of highlights too. So follow him on there as well. And Sutton does, he's got a clothing line, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got, we might have to talk to you, Sutton. we're gonna have to talk. I
believe it's overlooked, underrated, right?
Yeah, Olor. Yep, overlooked, underrated. Yep, That's right. Yeah, okay. Monday and Thursdays, he said. Mondays and Thursdays, Purple Rain Podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to them. All right.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm mad we didn't come up with that name first. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a dope name. That's pretty dope. Okay, Mariota said. Ferris says Mariota is a free agent.
So I don't think he is. They've been talking about trading him. I mean, I had to check. I don't think he's a free agent.
Yeah, because I thought he signed like a 2 or 3 year deal. It's like $10 million a year. Like it was a little unusual for a backup. I mean, it was a pretty good deal for him. Yeah, Darius Stafford also had Golden Tate in his prime. He had Golden Tate and Megatron at the same time. So.
And a couple of first round tight ends. And then when those guys left, he had Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones. Whatever.
Ab says for Wentz, you got to add picks to get off that contract.
Yeah.
So, but if you believe in Wentz, what would you give up for him?
Right. And that's really what kind of the question I have is, like, if you believe in that quarterback, like this is going to be our guy for 10 years, what would you give up? Like if the Chiefs came out tomorrow and said we're trading Pat Mahomes, what's too much to give up for Pat Mahomes, basically? Yeah.
Chris Hall has an interesting question here. Why do you guys think there's so many unhappy quarterbacks on the move this offseason, I think?
For me, this is something that goes back to what we've talked about since we started this channel. Is I think there's a lot of unhappy quarterbacks because there's a lot of coaches who have jobs that they don't deserve and they don't know what they're doing. And the quarterbacks are being used improperly. They're not being protected. And, they get frustrated. And especially when you look over at Kansas City, or now you look over at Tampa Bay and you see what those teams are doing for their quarterback and you're Russell Wilson and you're saying, what's going on?
Yeah. We've said this for a while, right? My thing is at least 40%. I would say at least 40% of the NFL front office and coaching staff are unqualified. They are not qualified to be in a position that they're in. But this league is run on nepotism. It's not about what you know. It is 100% who you know. You do not have to know.
and a lot of times who spawned you.
Yeah.
Minnesota's offensive coordinator last year was named Kubiak, and he's leaving, and their new offensive coordinator is named Kubiak.
Yes. Yeah. Look over in New England. Who's the defensive coordinator? Baby Belichick. Right. It is 100%. Yeah. Who you know? Who's your dad? Who's your uncle? Who's your cousin? Grandfather? Whatever. Right. That's the only requirement you need to work in the NFL. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it works out. I mean, some of these guys are pretty good. Kyle Shanahan's a pretty good coach, right? But sometimes it doesn't, and when it doesn't, it's hard to get rid of those guys because they're just tied to too many people. And and I think that's what's going on now. You get too many unhappy quarterbacks. Now, not all of it is bad coaching or bad management. Sometimes it's just the quarterback thinks they're better than they are.
Yes.
So, let's go to another one here. Ferris says he wouldn't trade a bag of expired grits.
Man,
wow, you want to trade a bag of expired grits for Carson Wentz?
Listen, man, your quarterback is Daniel Jones.
Ferris, so you wouldn't swap Carson with or Daniel Jones with Carson Wentz?
Or are we saying that Daniel Jones is lesser than a bag of expired grits? I tell you, man, I love Daniel Jones. He's got high entertainment value.
Yeah. Derek said, he said it on he left the comment on our video earlier. We saw it. He said, watch for Wilson after next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, they're making some noise about him getting moved to Denver this offseason. I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but
Courtney Rogers says he would give up a second for Wentz, nothing more. Okay.
Man, my man is astronomically high on Carson Wentz right now.
I like this, Abs. I would target Dak in a sign and trade.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, we said a few times we think Dallas doesn't. They're just not really like they don't like Dak for whatever reason.
These guys do not like Wentz. Wentz for a few ball games, QB wristbands.
A few game balls, man. Game balls have some value.
Yikes, man. Yeah, Derek Weatherly. Both Ryan twins, got jobs off of their father.
Yes.
North Turner's whole family is. Ferris said North Turner used Panthers as his personal daycare. Yeah. Kingbird 56 says 49ers a better fit for Deshaun Watson.
Listen, King. All right, we're not talking about what's good for Deshaun right now.
Yeah.
Okay? We're talking about what's good for Carolina.
Tough puppy, you are not late today, my friend.
What's
you
up,
are
Tough?
right on time. Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you joining.
San Francisco got a bunch of rings already.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Chris Hall. Here we go. Chris, go ahead and defend Danny Dimes to the Giants fan in here. He says y'all sleeping on Danny Dimes. If he gets protection and a dog at receiver, they could be scary. They already have good defense.
Man, all right. Like,
Is Darius Slayton not a good receiver?
Yeah, I mean they and oh man, I can't remember the other dude's name now from Oklahoma. Oh man.
Oh, I know you're talking about
Sterling Shepard. Yeah.
Sterling Shepard, and they have a Pro Bowl tight end.
Yeah.
And they got Saquon. They got Saquon Barkley.
That's also something I wanted to. I kept wanting to say to people in the comments because they kept talking about Orlando Brown being a Pro Bowl tackle. I'm like, that don't mean anything. But I didn't say anything because Orlando Brown's actually good. But.
He's got 3 good wide receivers. Listen. He's got more weapons than Lamar.
Yes.
He's got more weapons than Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. Okay. I would take all those guys over what we have, yo. I would take all those guys over what we have. I don't want to hear it, yo. He had almost more touchdowns or more interceptions than touchdowns this year. Okay. He has more turnovers than touchdowns. Both years that he started. Yes.
My man can't not fumble the ball.
Yeah. Oh, Golden Tate is there too? Yeah, he said they got Golden Tate, but they don't use them. Okay. Yes, Z the Beast. Thank you for joining the live stream. Danny Dimes needs a dog mentality. He's literally a young Eli clone. That's what they wanted. That's why they drafted him.
That's exactly, real swag is no swag.
That's exactly why they drafted him, because the Manning family has too much of a hold over that franchise. And they handpicked Daniel Jones. Like, he was always going to be the pick. If they were picking number 1, Daniel Jones would have been number 1. Yeah. Okay. And like, they let Eli handpick his predecessor.
Listen,
I don't get it.
They fired a coach for benching Eli Manning.
Yeah.
When he was 8 years past his prime.
Yes. You guys listen to Purple Wayne podcast. They know what they're talking about. Hit that like button. All right, let's go. All right, let's go over to the next topic real quick. So, since we got a full house in here, and we know you guys love your Ravens content. All right, let's pull it up.
Hey man, listen, when you play your cards right, this could be Panthers content too.
Well, it's gonna be both, man. Look, Panthers Nation, man. Look, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff.
Oh
Look.
no, I'm talking about this specific topic, Orlando Brown.
Oh, yes, yeah, correct. So we've been getting a lot of Orlando Brown news, as you guys know. Today, it was officially reported that he asked for a trade.
Yeah.
So, teams have been calling us, obviously, and the question really is, what are we going to get for him? And we did a video, we put it out last night, and you had a lot to say.
Yes.
you had
yes.
a lot to
of
say.
Opinions.
I want to give you guys a second here. See, you look. He wants us to talk about the Nets. We are going to get to the Nets, not this stream, but trust me, a lot of NBA content coming up, and we're gonna be talking a lot of Nets, a lot of Lakers. So if you guys are into that stuff,
the Nets are the laziest basketball team I've ever seen.
Okay, all right, we can also we're going to get to that. Trust me. Okay, you might have seen it in one of the videos we were doing yesterday. I had them up on the screen, and I'm just like.
They got 3 stars and said now we only need to play it once every 3 nights.
Okay, all right. So Orlando Brown, he's going to be on the move, right? It's inevitable. It's just a matter of what deal are they going to get? What's the best deal they're going to get for Orlando Brown? My question is this, and I want you guys to put your comments in the chat. What do you think we should get for him? Because we heard a lot of different things, players, picks, you name it. I think you guys heard me in the last video say, I don't want any more draft picks. Just give me some proven players, right? Yeah. I know you guys don't really agree with that, but I want to hear some of your opinions. And, okay, if it is draft picks, if we get 2 first-round picks, then what? What do we do with the picks? What do we do in free agency? Like, I just want to know, like, get the picks, and then what moves do you say we make? Because I saw some responses on Twitter that really had me concerned. Okay? Really had me concerned. So I want you guys to kind of type in there and just tell me, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts in terms of trading Orlando Brown, what the compensation should be, and what moves should we make after we do that? Bruno Moreno says player and picks, it's supposed to be a haul.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a haul. Yeah. What kind of haul, right? Courtney Rogers says, hold on. Courtney Rogers says, let's not play around with this. DJ Chark and that 33rd pick. I like that.
Listen, if I thought I would take that too. But if that's going to be the target, you got to push and get the 25th pick with DJ Chark. He's not a great receiver. I like DJ Chark, and he'd obviously be the number 1 in Baltimore. But if you're getting DJ Chark, you can probably get that 25th pick from them as well. Yeah, but again, the question is, with a lot of these scenarios, does that team really want to go after Orlando Brown? Like, they've got Cam Robinson. I mean, he's a free agent, but they drafted Cam Robinson. They drafted Jawan Taylor. Maybe they're still happy with them,
Yeah. Av says, I like how the Rams don't value first round. That's right. Hit on second and third round picks, which is what the
Ravens used to do.
Well, not only do they not value first round picks, I mean, they value proven players, right? Okay, Purple Rain Podcast says, Picks. Draft a stud O-lineman, okay, somewhere in the first or second, and package the other 2 picks to trade for a wide receiver. I like that. I like that. That's a lot better than what I heard earlier. I heard a combination of get 2 first-round picks, then draft a Kyle Pitts, and then draft the edge rusher, and then somewhere at some point get an interior O lineman. And I'm like, that's great. Who's going to be our tackle? Right? Because the thing is, if when we trade Orlando Brown, we're down to 1 tackle on the team.
Yes. One tackle and 1 solidified position on the O-line.
Yeah. So I'm not going into next year with the questions that we have at interior O-line. Yes, we have a lot of guys that we think might step up, right? We have Ben Powers, we got Tyree Phillips, You know, Castillo Colon at center. You think, hey, maybe those guys will get better, but none of them are proven. None of them are proven. They're not a sure thing. We're not going into next year with a bunch of guys that aren't a sure thing, and then we have nothing but a big question mark at right tackle. So
Right.
how are we going to shore that up after we trade Orlando Brown? So I like what Purple Rain Podcast said, right? Get some picks, use one of those top picks and try to get one of those stud tackles in the draft, right? And then try to package some of your other picks and get a stud wide receiver. Now, do you mean get a stud wide receiver in the draft, or do you mean get go and get like a Mike Williams or somebody like that?
Yeah, because I don't want to hear about Baltimore drafting wide receivers anymore. You had a chance, you failed. Now go get somebody you know can play.
Look, I like the idea too, guys. I like the idea of Pitts and Andrews, along with Boyle. Like you want weapons. I got no problem with wanting weapons, but how are we going to show up the O line? It's got to be O line and wide receivers what the focus needs to be, right? So as long as you're protecting Lamar, and we shore that up. I mean, and they're playing ways we can do that. We talked about Trent Williams possibly coming in and playing right tackle. That would be great, right? He's still a really good player. If we went and got another center, you had a couple of centers you had in mind,
Yeah,
too, right?
they got some. There's some centers hitting free agency. Mack out of Atlanta, Corey Linsley with Green Bay, Ted Karras out of Miami, David Andrews from New England, Austin Blythe from the Rams. Like there's options for experienced centers.
Yeah.
If I'm Baltimore, I would probably try to bring in one of those guys, and then maybe draft another center in the third round or so or later. I mean, unless they're really high on Colon Castillo, and you can let them kind of develop for another year.
Yeah. Yeah. Ferret says it's Alex Leatherwood territory in the draft. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Kyle Krabs from the Draft Network. His most recent mock had Leatherwood actually fall into the early 40s, I think. So in the second round there. But yeah, for Baltimore, 27, it's really going to have to be either a center if they don't sign one in free agency, or another tackle, because they're about to trade Orlando. They need a starter, and they have to get at least one solid backup.
Yeah. So when we trade Orlando Brown, we're talking about we got to get at least 2 tackles, right? So we can have 3 tackles on the team. That's insane.
This is why I'm in favor of just trading him for a receiver, and you can add in a draft pick. I like Mike Williams specifically. Trade Orlando for Mike Williams and maybe a second, and then use free agency in the draft to focus in on fixing that O-line.
Yeah. One of the worst things I heard was somebody say, get Kyle Pitts and an edge rusher. And I'm like, so you just want to go in defense, tight end, and even worse O-line than this year? That's your plan? No. No, thank you. Bruno Moraine says trading Brown pushes us to get a tackle early, and there's a good one like Dylan Radnus and Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah. I'm not sure who will actually be available, at their pick. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to go tackle early.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to, unless, like we said, and John Carrington mentioned it in our YouTube comments, unless they go after a guy like Trent Williams and insert him at right tackle for the next few years, then you can wait till the second, maybe even third, to get a guy to come in and be the backup.
Yeah. Ray Senga, thank you for joining the live stream. First and second round pick from Jags or Miami. Okay. First, second round pick.
But see, and this is where my issue comes in. You're talking about pick 18 or pick 25 for Jacksonville, right? And again, what are we taking there? Are we just going? You're going to go all O-line? I mean, I hope we're not talking about taking a wide receiver there.
Yeah.
At 18 or 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Purple Rain says Lamar plus Mike Williams would really be a problem. Big body wide receiver with a big catch radius, exactly what Lamar Jackson needs.
You know what I really like about Mike Williams too? he kind of solves the issues for people who don't really want wide receivers but kind of pretend that they do. Like, people who say,
Yeah,
"Oh, we need to find a new Anquan Bolden." Yeah, he's 6'4", 220. He's really physical. He makes those contested catches and everything. And then the people who say, "Oh, well, they don't throw enough for a top wide receiver." Mike Williams has never caught more than 50 passes. He's never had 90 targets in a season.
yeah,
So I don't think he's going to be complaining. You
yeah.
know,
Because what's the stat you had? Was it last year or the year before? He
the
had
year before, not this season, but in 2019, he went over 1,000 yards on 49 catches, just over 1,000 yards. He averaged 20 yards a catch.
there you go. That's the man. That's the guy right there. And yes, that's another problem. We don't throw enough. That's a coaching problem, in my opinion.
Yes.
King Bird says like Mike Williams, but he's injury prone.
He seems that way. Like he gets banged up a lot, but he doesn't actually miss many games. He did in his rookie year. He came in injured, but I mean, he's been fairly solid since then. Yeah, I mean, he does get banged up a bit, but nobody's perfect, right? Like you're gonna have to deal with some warts no matter who you get.
Yeah. Ray Sanger makes another good point here. Trey Smith from Tennessee can play guard or tackle. We can get him in the third or second, maybe. The thing is, like, these players, you really don't know how they're gonna turn out, right?
Yeah.
We get him, and it's like, okay, great. The Ravens have a great history of getting interior O linemen, but as you saw this past season, it's not a short thing, right? And I don't mind holding on to most of these guys that we have already, and I feel good that one or two of them might work out. But I want to get a guy that I know can play, right? That we all know can play, so there's no question mark there. So we don't go into next season and Lamar Jackson can't get a snap because the center's throwing it every which way, right? We don't get 3 false start penalties in a row and then an illegal shift penalty, right? So it's first and 35. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see those things anymore. We are past that, guys. We are trying to win a Super Bowl, and like the margin of error is very thin, man. Like, Kansas City is not getting worse just because they got the brakes beaten off of them in the Super Bowl. They're not going to come back weaker. They're going to come back a lot stronger. Okay,
yeah.
Their O-line is going to be healthy next year. They're getting the one O-line that opted out back next year. The one tackle, he's coming back next year. And look, like I told B, don't be surprised if they sign Allen Robinson, right? Yeah. That's how aggressive they are on offense. Don't be surprised if they're the ones to go and get Allen Robinson.
They're definitely going to add a receiver this offseason. Yeah. They're going to be serious about it.
So we got to be just as serious. Defense is fine, guys. Defense is fine. We're not going to fall off the face of the earth if we don't invest more into the defense. We're going to be just fine. You guys believe in Wink Martindale, right? You think he's a good coach, right? Okay, well, we got a lot of good players there. Let him coach. Yeah. Okay? Let him coach. Let him coach those guys up. If we need to go and get edge rushers, those are the guys that we can get in the later rounds. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's time to invest in the offense. Defund the defense. Hashtag defund the defense.
Yes.
Tell your friends. Attitude Pop says, first things first, saying stuff about Lamar and Ravens again. The Wilds guy says the Ravens might make the playoffs because of passing. Might not make the playoffs because of passing, and no wide receivers want to come because no wide receivers want to come because we got Chiefs and Packers on a schedule. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. We have a tough schedule next year, which is why, look, this offseason is going to be real interesting because it's not going to be said, but I believe this year, John Harbaugh's on the hot seat. Mm-hmm. Quiet as kept. I think he's on the hot seat. I think he has some idea that his job might be in danger if they fall short again, right? This season coming up, the schedule's going to be harder because we were a playoff team, so the schedule's going to be harder. And you gotta coach, Greg Roman, who's limited, right? Yeah. That's just a matter of fact. His whole resume shows that he is limited in play calling. So I believe that if we get off to a slow start and the offense isn't rolling, Greg Roman's going to be fired.
Yeah,
he'll be fired early. And the guy that we just hired, wasn't it Keith Williams?
Keith Williams.
He'll take over. He'll take over. So the two moves that they made with Keith Williams and T. Martin, that could be setting some things up for the future. So I want to see. I like those hires. I want to see how they follow it up this offseason.
Yeah, hopefully that's a signal towards them wanting to bring in more wide receiver talent. But we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, Z the Beast says Michael Gallup in the first and third.
Wow, that is aggressive, especially considering their first round pick is number 10.
If you can get it, get it. But I
don't think that they'll give you Michael Gallup. I don't think Dallas will give you the number 10 pick at all, because why would they?
Yeah.
There are a couple of elite tackle prospects, and they may be able to get one at 10. So they won't need to give up that pick to get a tackle. They won't have to pay that pick, close to $20 million like they will Orlando Brown immediately. But if you go to them and you say Michael Gallup plus a pick, or maybe even 2 picks, they might be tempted to just go ahead and take that and then use that number pick or number 10 pick somewhere else. Yeah. But I don't think you're going to get the 10th overall.
Yeah. Garnett West, I completely agree with this. John Harbaugh has no choice but to evolve the offense or he's gone. It's almost like Lamar's rookie season. Absolutely. I think people forget he was on his way out. He was on his way out, and Lamar saved him. Right? We cannot go backwards. Lamar has shown you, despite what anybody says in the media, Lamar has shown you that he is a good passer. He is an efficient passer. 68 touchdowns to only 18 interceptions. His touchdown to interception ratio is insane. 64% completion percentage. You cannot run with that. He's limited as a passer. Nah, he can make the throws. You gotta. First of all, it's up to you to evolve him as a passer. That's your job as a coach. And he's shown you he can do a lot of great things throwing the ball, and you have to build on that. And if you can't get the most out of him, you got to go. So next year, we can't have another season where, we're expected to make the playoffs. That's off the rip. We're supposed to be a playoff team. So we can't have another year where we come up short in the first round or even the second round, like depending on who we play, right? Like we can't go in the second round and lose to the Tennessee or the Bills again, right? Or just get completely embarrassed. Yeah. So it's going to matter what we do, how we perform this year coming up, whether or not John Harbaugh is going to be back. So he better take it very seriously. Stop looking at that defense. That defense ain't going to save you, bro.
And like I said, regarding Lamar, and people say he can't pass or he's limited as a passer. Look, he came in his rookie year. They went 6-1. Came back the next year, went 14-2, won unanimous MVP. Came back this year in a down year, won 11 games, went to the playoffs, won a playoff game. So it's either he can make the throws or he doesn't need to. So it's not a conversation worth having. So
Darius Simmons doesn't like the Gallup move. He doesn't like Michael Gallup. Am I right? You're saying no. You said no for Gallup. King Bird 56 says Gallup is not a number 1. Over here he is. By far. Okay. I think Gallup is a number 1, first of all. He's very good, guys. Just because he's not a number 1 in that offense. Look, you're talking about an offense that has CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, okay? And I think he's a number 2 over there. I think CeeDee Lamb's number 1. Who knows? Like, they have 3 really good wide receivers, okay? Those are problems that we don't have over here. We have the opposite, okay? Tanya Bowman, what's going on?
What's going on, Tanya?
Hey, guys, I was looking at Ravens Final, and they basically had the same analysis state that he doesn't think the Ravens need a number 1 wide receiver to take our next step. They are trying to prepare us. I dismiss all that. I dismiss all that. Sure. Tom Brady doesn't need a number 1 either, I guess. He's the greatest of all time, right? But he only has 3 top 10 wide receivers on his team. He's got Gronk, right? He's got Leonard Fournette. He doesn't need him. Pat Mahomes doesn't need a number 1 wide receiver either, right? But he has Tyreek Hill. And I'm telling you guys, prepare yourself right now. They are going to get another top flight wide receiver. I ain't talking about like a second round pick. I'm talking about prepare for Allen Robinson or what's his name over in Detroit? Galladay is going to be that kind of wide receiver, and we're going to end up getting Sammy Watkins. You know?
Yeah.
So, King, but what you laughing at? You laughing at me? Attitude pop. I'm tired. Like
You know,
you
he
got
just
people on YouTube celebrating his injury in the Bills game, saying that they told us, look,
maybe one.
look, look, attitude pop. You're always gonna have those guys, yo.
Yeah.
King Bear laughing at me. You're always gonna have those guys. That's any fan base. That's any fan base. People are jerks, man. You can't put too much energy into that.
Hmm.
I get frustrated with influencers, right? Like other people in the media, and you gotta take it with a grain of salt with them too, because they have an agenda, behind what they're saying. But they influence you guys. You guys watch them, and they put a certain narrative out there, and me and B try to push back against those narratives sometimes. So sometimes it might come off like we're being a little negative. We're not being negative, man. We're just trying to kind of shed a little light on some of the things that are that's being said out there. So when we say hashtag defund the defense, again, that does not mean take away all your weapons on defense. It means we spent enough money on them. We spent enough draft picks. Just let it play out. Okay, they're gonna be fine. Stop spending more resources on them. Reallocate your funds and put it into the offense.
Right.
Your best player is Lamar Jackson. By far. By far. He is the best player on that team. Give that man some weapons and let him carry the team. That's all we're saying.
Because the defense tried and failed.
They tried. And look, they did a great job. They did a great job in the playoffs, man. I mean, you can't ask for more from a defense. You hold a team to 10 points in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Tampa Bay did, and they won the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, think about how great Tampa Bay's defense played, and they held down Kansas City, a team who had never scored under double digits, and that same performance from Kansas City's offense would have beat Baltimore.
Yeah, yeah. Jonathan Washington says being a number one wide receiver in Baltimore is much different than being number one anywhere else. Corey Davis ain't number one, but I take him in a heartbeat.
Bro, there are like 40 receivers in the NFL who would be a number one receiver in Baltimore.
I just want you guys. Look, this is a defensive city, right? I get it. It's a defensive team historically, but I want you guys to take that mentality that you would put towards the defense and put it towards the offense for a change, because our best player, again, like I said, is Lamar Jackson by far. This ain't a Ray Lewis and Ed Reed run team anymore. Okay, this is Lamar Jackson time. We would never settle for anything but the best on defense. Okay, we can easily say, if I say, hey, look, we're stacked in the secondary, dude. Right, we're stacked at linebacker. Our D line is straight. Don't worry about edge rushers. Right, just let Sack Daddy, let Ferguson go out there and play edge. Right, we got him in the third round. He led. He has the sack record in college. He can do it. He'll break out. Re-sign Jihad Ward, and let's get it. A lot of you guys will be like, hell no, hell no. We need better. We need. We gotta go and get Clowney, or we gotta go and get Shaq Barrett. We need somebody that's gonna really give us that pop. On the edge.
Yeah. I mean, I was just talking with a guy on YouTube in the comments who said, got to go and get some help in the secondary at corner. And I'm like, they don't need any help at corner. He's like, corner? Yeah, he said Marcus Peters is starting to get up there, and Jimmy Smith is hurt all the time, and Tavon Young's hurt all the time. And I told him, I'm like, look, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith, Tavon Young, Iman Marshall. They just re-signed Devontae Harris. The other corner whose name I'm forgetting right now, but they're 7 deep at corner basically. There's nobody in the league who has a cornerback room like Baltimore, but Ravens fans still want more.
Yeah,
and it's just at some point you got to come off of that. It can't just be defense all the time.
Yeah. Mr. J the Sixth, thank you for joining the live stream, man. You can never have too many edge rushers. See, that's the mentality that I'm talking about. Okay, you can never have too many edge rushers. You can never have too many tackles. You can never have too many guards. You can never have too many centers. You can never have too many wide receivers.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
what you can never have too many edge rushers, but can we get enough wide receivers?
Yeah.
they have one.
Yeah,
one, and he's not great.
Right. You got to take that same mentality and put it into offense. All right. Just for 1 year, say Lamar has to have the best wide receiver, not just an all right guy, not just a good enough guy, the best guy that you can possibly get. I want Lamar to play with a superstar. I want him to have a Devontae Adams. I want him to have a Calvin Johnson. I want him to have a DeAndre Hopkins, right? Like some of these guys, I mean, A-Rod and Devontae Adams, that's a perfect matchup because A-Rod is the man. But some of these guys, man, they're playing with wide receivers that they don't deserve.
Yeah. Some of those wide receivers were playing with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Rescue them.
Or Mitch Trubisky, right?
Yes.
I mean, come on, man. Come on. Like, you should want the best for
One of those guys is staring down the barrel of having to catch passes from Jared Goff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, he ain't going to be back, though. He ain't gonna be back. Holiday's gonna be gone. Attitude Pop says Ravens are gonna rewatch the Super Bowl. Be like, yeah, we told you we don't need a number one. They go and be like, see the defense win championships. Yeah, like I said, you had to be watching that Super Bowl with blinders because what I saw Antonio Brown, who we didn't want over here, by the way, score a touchdown. Right. I saw Mike Evans out there killing the secondary. I saw Gronk had 2 touchdowns. Right. I saw Chris Godwin out there. I saw a lot of talent on that offense that the Chiefs defense, who didn't play bad, just couldn't hold them. We wouldn't have put up that many points. I promise you that.
Yeah. And I said it on the on our stream after the Super Bowl. If you watch that game, you say, hey, this is how you beat Pat Mahomes, right? You rush him with 4 and you get pressure on him, blah, blah, blah.
Facts,
like,
Tanya.
It's just like saying, hey, I saw the blueprint to beating Baltimore. You had to stop Lamar from running. Pittsburgh did it on that Thursday night game with Robert Griffin in.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs were missing 5 of their top 8 offensive linemen. That game told you nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
they played Tampa Bay earlier in the season. Pat Mahomes threw for 460 yards and 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Yeah. And look, and those guys know it, right? I watched some of their post game interviews, and they seem more irritated than sad, right? Because I mean, Tyreek Hill said it. He's like, "We'll be back here next year. We'll see what's up." Right? That's a team that's highly confident, and they know, right? They're not worried about that. That's a team that's not just saying, "Hey, we want to be a dynasty." They expect to be a dynasty. They absolutely believe to their core that they're going to be back there next year. You know?
It is not taking anything away from Tampa Bay, but if Eric Fisher doesn't tear his Achilles last week, the Chiefs are back-to-back champions.
Hey, thank you, Mr. J the Sixth. I had to subscribe to y'all after the collab live the other day. Appreciate it. Are you a Panthers fan? Just curious. We were on Panthers Nation podcast the other day. Shout out to those guys, man. Rashad and David, man. They do some good work over there. Also, I didn't mention the other YouTuber, Unnecessary Bluntness. My man, Aaron Duncan. Make sure you check out his channel too, man. Those guys, they do some good stuff over there, man. And they're football fans, so you can go in there and chop it up with them, and they can talk to you about anything. I mean, they know I was a Ravens fan, and they're talking to me about the Ravens because they really love Orlando Brown too. Tanya says she wanted AB. Yeah, Lamar wanted AB too. Yeah. Right? Lamar wanted AB. This whole team wanted AB. That's the thing.
And they got Dez. How'd that work out?
Yeah. The difference between the team that you saw win the Super Bowl and us, you had the whole team over here saying, yes, bring on AB. He's not going to be a problem. You have the quarterback saying, hey, man, I've been working out with this man all offseason, right? Him in Hollywood, his cousin. You have AB on Instagram Live saying, hey, Ravens, could you sign me? I'm willing to play there. And they were like, no, let's get Dez, right? The team that won the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, brought in a quarterback, and he was like, hey, can you bring my friend Gronk? Don't really need him, but okay.
My retired friend Gronk?
Yeah, my retired friend Gronk. Yeah, okay, fine. Hey, can you bring in AB? Well, the coach doesn't really like him, right? And we have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who are top 10 wide receivers. But okay, why not? Sure.
Tom was like, I didn't ask you about all that. I said, can you bring in AB?
Yeah. And, just for fun, let's bring in Leonard Fournette. I don't know, just because.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference, right? You get your quarterback what he needs and what he wants, so he feels comfortable out there, so he's confident out there. You know,
Yeah,
and don't worry about the other stuff.
when you don't get your quarterback what he wants, then he's doing interviews with Dan Patrick talking about how frustrated he is about you not getting him what he wants, and how he needs to have a bigger voice in the decisions in your organization.
Yeah, Mr. J says, yeah, he's a longtime Panthers fan. All right, man.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, keep pounding. We're gonna be doing some more Panthers videos. Listen, this channel, right? Full disclosure, this is probably 90% of you guys are Ravens fans. So that's great. We're gonna keep giving you Ravens content. So don't worry about that. But B's a Panthers fan, so we like to give Panthers content. But if you ever listen to our podcast, Lunch Break Hot Take, we like to talk about boxing, UFC, NBA, and we're going to bring that to YouTube as well. So, be ready for some more NBA content. We talked about the Nets a little bit earlier. We'll be talking about that. B's a Lakers fan, so we'll be covering Lakers.
That's right.
So, but look, don't go anywhere. If you're here for Ravens content, we're going to give you all the Ravens content you can handle, okay? But we're also going to be doing some NBA videos. When there's boxing events, we're going to do boxing. There's big-time UFC events. We'll do that too. So, all around, sports content. So I appreciate you guys checking out. We're going to get out of here soon. But if you guys like the content and you want to support the channel as we grow, we want to give you guys some more stuff. We want to get better equipment, give you a better experience. Of course, there's a financial burden to that. So if you want to help us lower that financial burden, patreon.com/LBHT show is how you can support. We have a $3 a month tier. If you got $3, just $3. You got $3, go ahead and sign up. We're going to have a $10 tier. And in the $10 tier, you'll be able to get a coin. It's not this coin, but something similar to this. If you guys, I know Garnett knows what this is. This is a challenge coin, right? I know you know Garnett, right? This is, I was Air Force, right? This is my basic coin from Air Force. We created a challenge coin. It's coming soon. We're going to be able to show it to you. We created a challenge coin for our patrons. So sign up. We get you a challenge coin. It's going to say founding member because you guys have been here from the beginning. So yeah, it's going to be limited, but get you one while supplies last. And we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff, fantasy football, pick'em leagues. These are things that we've been doing with our friends, and we want to extend it to you guys because you guys have been real supportive, and we appreciate each and every one of you. All right, yeah. I'll read a few more comments before we get up out of here. T. Will Wilt, thank you for joining the live stream. He says we need DJ Charles and Miles Jack and a second round pick for
DJ Chark.
Okay. Yeah.
And Miles Jack, huh? Listen, I don't know if they would I don't know if they'd be willing to do that one. But
I like Miles Jack though.
So I'll say yes.
I know I just said defund the defense, but okay.
Listen, if it comes as part of a trade with a wide receiver, then it doesn't count.
Yeah,
that's the new rule.
Okay. Shout out to Mr. J the Sixth. He said I'm Air Force as well. Definitely got to rock with y'all. Yeah, I only did 4 years. I was in 22nd IS, 22nd Intelligence Squadron. I was a SIGINT analyst. So yeah, man. Shout out to you guys. Garnett, you're Marines, I think, right? Were you Marines? I think he's still in. Shout out to shout out to everybody that's in the military and all my military vets. But yeah, man, that's dope. That's dope. Attitude Pop says, would we get Julio if it's over? Wait, what are you saying? If we get Julio, say he is finished career. I don't know what you're saying here. I don't know what you're saying. Type that again.
If you're asking if we would want Julio, then yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes to Julio.
Yeah. Look, I don't know why Ravens fans get so picky when it comes to getting good wide receivers, but every time you name a wide receiver, it's he gets hurt sometimes.
I'll tell you, man, it is fear of expectation.
That's what it is. Guys, don't be afraid to be great. Don't be afraid to be great on offense, right? It's okay. It's okay, if we have expectations and we fall short. Only one team can win every year.
Yeah.
All right. But we need to have expectations. I mean, we already have the expectations. That's the thing. We have expectations to win. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what it feels like to have those expectations and fall short? Exactly what it felt like the last 3 years. It's no different.
Exactly.
No different at all.
Tough Puppy wants to know how we feel about Curtis
I
Samuel.
love Curtis Samuel. I want him to stay in Carolina. Let's be clear about that. I mean, Carolina should have locked him up already.
Yeah,
But at this point, I don't think they're going to. So I think he would be outstanding in Baltimore.
I think he'd be perfect because he's a running back and wide receiver. He can play both positions really well.
Yeah, and he can line up inside and outside. He's
Yeah.
great on third down. He's electric with the ball in his hands.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
And all he needs is more touches. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We had a little debate about this with Sonny. You gotta check out Sonny from SCG Sports. He thinks Curtis Samuel wouldn't be a good fit. Look, I love Sonny, man. I love Sonny, but like Sonny and some of you guys have this idea in your head that we need a big body wide receiver. You got to be 6'3" and you got to be rocked up, and that's how you get a good catch radius. But I'm gonna quote my man Emory Hunt from Football Game Plan. Size is not a skill. All right. Don't confuse size with skill. Just because you're 6'3" and have a long wingspan does not mean you have a wide catch radius.
And to add on to that, I'm going to throw out a couple of names that still give me nightmares. Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess. I watched Devin Funchess not even jump for a pass in the end zone in a playoff game. That's what I watched.
Kelvin Benjamin had all the skill, man. He was just so lazy.
Kelvin Benjamin had some skill. He was a terrible route runner, and he had bad hands, and he was super lazy.
Yeah.
So.
Outside of that, he was great. Yeah, your size does not equate to skill. Now, if you're very skilled and you had the size, that's a rare combination, right? And that's usually when you become a great player, right? But outside of that, man, like more than anything, I want a guy that can run routes, get separation, and above all, catch, right?
Yes.
When Steve Smith was here, you guys love Steve Smith, right? Steve Smith,
tiny little dude.
Yeah, but he was physical. He ran great routes and he could catch. So more than anything, you want good wide receiver. So just because
remember when Baltimore brought in Mike Wallace and we were all like, "Why'd you do that?" Man, I'll love Mike Wallace right now. That would be so great.
I know. And also when people say, "Hey, you don't need a pay for a star wide receiver, number one wide receiver," the person. Yeah, Jonathan Carrington, Kadarius Toney is another person we like. But I think about Anquan Bolden because people used to always say, hey, Anquan Bolden wasn't a 1,000-yard wide receiver, but Anquan Bolden was a 1,500-yard wide receiver. Okay. That's the type of skill level he had. He just didn't have those stats in Baltimore, but he was that caliber of wide receiver. And when we needed him to step up and be that, he was. So that's what I want here. I'm not worried about getting Al Robinson here and trying to get him 1,500 yards. I want Al Robinson here so when we go to the playoffs, we have a guy that can make those plays in those moments. And Al Robinson ain't going to worry about getting his stats, man. He wants to get paid and he wants to win. Okay. No, Adi Muratovic, did I get this right? No. Okay. Derwin James for Orlando Brown straight up? No. No. What does that do for us?
Listen, you should have had Derwin James in Baltimore, but you want Hayden Hurst instead. Yeah. God damn it, Derek. God damn it.
There's just everybody.
That's not cool.
T. Will Wilt wants to know, what about Juju?
I like Juju a lot, but
like
Juju, this is gonna sound stupid. His vibe kind of rubs me the wrong way. But
I like Juju.
I like Juju. I think he would be great in Baltimore too. He's a really, despite the whole TikTok thing and kind of seeming like he's not focused, he's an extremely tough player, extremely tough wide receiver, very skilled, and his numbers have been down the last couple of years. But I think that's mostly due to a role change in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Not so much of him, he's not a number one wide receiver or anything like that. He's playing a different role in Pittsburgh than he had been previously.
There's a lot of guys that I like in that secondary role, right? But like I want a star wide receiver, right? I would love to get Juju, but I wouldn't want to stop there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still want Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
mean, that's what it comes down to. Derwin James can take Kelsey 1-on-1. Okay, but can he block?
Listen. Here's the thing.
And
And this is
Yusef, thank you
something
for
that
joining
we
the live
did.
stream. Appreciate you, Yusef. Yusef's
What's
been
up, man?
following us when we were like 20 subscribers in.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
That may be true. And this is the thing that we've done a lot in our videos and in our live streams, where we talk about what Baltimore needs to beat Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is they've been to the playoffs 3 years in a row and they haven't gotten to Kansas City yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Addy, we actually talked about this earlier. He said, would you guys mind if we got Mike Williams in a package for the Chargers? That's exactly what we're looking at.
yeah, love Mike Williams. Love that trade for Baltimore. Mike Williams in a pick, it would be outstanding to me.
Yeah. All right. So we gone over a little bit. So just so you guys know, is that David?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's my son David. He's over at B's house. Once we launch the $10 tier on Patreon, we're gonna end these shows right at 8:00. These only supposed to go for an hour. We've been going a little overtime because you guys have been supporting. We're going to cut it. We're going to cut it around 8:00, and then we're going to do an overtime show for our Patreon members, so we can keep it going, keep answering your questions. But if you're not signed up to Patreon, don't worry about it. You got a question, just send us an email. Okay, lbhtshow@gmail.com. So
like I mentioned with Russell Wilson saying he wants a bigger voice in the organization and their free agency and draft decisions.
Yeah.
Go ahead and send us an email or leave us a comment or hit us up on Twitter at LBHT Show and let us know if you agree with star players having a voice in what their teams do in the draft and free agency. Want to hear some opinions on that.
If there's any other topics that you guys want us to bring up, like I said, we cover all sports except baseball. But if you want to talk about something on baseball, it's a big topic and it's on your mind, send us an email, right? Send us an email. We might do a video on it, or we can bring it up on next week's show, right? Look, we're still pretty small right now, but we're growing fast, and that's because you guys have been supporting us, and we really appreciate you guys. All right, so with that being said, all right, we'll read a couple more comments and then we'll get up out of here. Ab says, I'm just happy with the new hires. I'm happy with the new hires too. Attitude Pop says, Wood, if we can get Julio, it's over. Say he finished his career in Atlanta. That's okay. That's cap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Would love Julio in Baltimore.
T Will, yes. Derwin James can't stay healthy. He's still early on in his career too. He has some unfortunate injuries. We gotta see how the rest of his career plays out. But a very good player. King Bird says if we get Juju, he can be a solid number 2 pick. Yeah, or a solid number 2 wide receiver. Yeah, absolutely. I still want number 1. Jonathan Washington Jr. says, would you mind Orlando Brown trade for Arizona 16th pick, Christian Kirk, and another day 2 pick? That's interesting. Just as wide receiver and O-line in free agency and draft. Pass rush can wait till day 3 of draft, in my opinion. I like that.
I would like that, but again, I think it would be difficult to get that kind of package.
Yeah.
And plus, because especially with Arizona, they just paid DJ Humphries, right? I think they're happy with him. So I don't know, but again, if you can get it, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, and last one, Ab says Curtis Samuel is the guy we should get. Totally agree, man.
There are about 15 guys that Baltimore should get, and be happy with any one of them. But yeah, really love Curtis Samuel.
Yep. All right, guys. With that being said, also, didn't mention earlier, if you like the merch, look, every YouTuber has a merch store, right? They don't push it nearly enough. We're trying to put some thought into the merch that we put out there. We want some stuff that you guys would be interested in buying. So here we have, Lunch Break Hot Take shirt. If you look at the video we put out yesterday, the Orlando Brown video, you see me wearing a Ravens-like hoodie that has our symbol on it. My man Ab said he was digging it. So, check out the merch store. It's right there on the bottom on the ticker. Be pulling out the merch. Here. Got another one right there. Okay, you're gonna be seeing us wear our stuff. You can get yourself a nice mug if this thing would focus. Okay, lunch break hot take mug.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, man. Look, like I said, we're still small. We're growing. The more you
What
support us, the
T
faster we'll.
will thank you for the subscribe.
Oh, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. And like I said, like if you guys can't support financially, man, it's all good. What you guys are doing right now is perfect, man. You guys have been showing up to these live streams. You guys have been subscribing. You guys have been commenting. We truly appreciate that, man. So keep going, and we want to keep growing.
Yeah,
You
we
got
had
something to say?
we had a goal for the end of January to hit. It was 250 subscribers, and we were over 300.
Our original
Yeah.
goal, was 100. Our original goal was, man, we can get to 100, man. Like I think we'll be on the right track.
Yeah.
And then we went on Joe Nubo's show and we hit 100 that night.
Yeah.
After going on Joe Nubo's show, and then it just been uphill from here, man. Yeah. Like just we got like 20 subscribers in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So I mean,
really appreciate all the support.
Yeah, you guys rock, man. But like I said, send us an email, lbhtshow@gmail.com. If you guys got questions, you got some topics that you want us to discuss, send it to us. We'll get back to you, and maybe we'll put it in the video, or we'll do
And
it.
listen, also, if you guys have any particular other Black history facts that you'd like us to consider for the show, go ahead and send those through also.
All right.
Thanks to Derek and Garnett for posting those.
Yes, appreciate
in the chat.
And shout out to Engraven for stopping by for a second. Shout out to Purple Rain Podcast. All right. Make sure you guys are following them for Ravens content. Also follow Panthers Nation Podcast for your Panthers content.
That's right.
And unnecessary bluntness. Aaron Duncan.
I laugh every time I hear that one.
I love that name, man. I love it, man. So, and we're going to be, collaborating with more YouTubers in the future as we get bigger. All right. So you guys have a good night, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.